CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, July 18th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. Well, last evening, throughout the whole night, F-16s from the Turkish Air Force patrolled the skies over Ankara and Istanbul. A pretty clear sign that the Turkish government does not quite yet feel secure in thinking that the coup attempt has been completely smashed. This is despite the fact that the Turkish government has now arrested over 8,000 people. The death toll there was 232 killed Friday night and into Saturday morning, including 24 coup plotters, all dying in the unrest. The Turkish President Erdogan has pledged the cleansing of state institutions. He said that the cleansing is like a cancer that has spread like a virus and it needs to be eradicated. Beginning today, Turkish prosecutors began questioning 27 generals and admirals, including the former Air Force commander, General Akin Öztürk. Mr. Öztürk has been described as the ringleader of the foiled uprising, although he's vehemently protesting his innocence. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has warned the Turks to ensure that civil liberties, such as they are, remain in place as Mr. Erdogan proceeds to eradicate the virus. Meanwhile, in the United States over the weekend on Sunday, 3 more police officers were killed. This was an outright attack by a lone gunman in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Louisiana and Baton Rouge was the site of the initial killing of a young black man named Alton Sterling 2 weeks ago at the hands of police, which began the current 2 weeks of national turmoil. President Obama said that attacks on police are an attack on all of us and the rule of law that makes society possible. Meanwhile, police departments across the country are responding. In New York, the police department is doubling up on all foot patrols. Officers are being instructed to take all meals and personal groups in pairs. In Cleveland, the police union is asking the governor to temporarily restrict the state's open carry laws for the Republican National Convention. That's not a request to change the open carry laws of alcoholic beverages. That's a request to change the open carry laws of weapons. The Boston Police Department is also requiring that 2 officers be in every patrol unit. At the European Union ministers meeting right now in Brussels, the British are making a big deal of insisting that their pending exit from the EU, does not mean that they will be leaving Europe or abandoning its friends. Making his debut on the international stage, Boris Johnson, the new foreign secretary, said that the European Union needs a coordinated response to terrorism in light of the recent Nice attack. Present at the meeting, unprecedentedly, is the American Secretary of State John Kerry. Mr. Kerry demonstrates, apparently by his groundbreaking attendance, the need felt by the United States to talk up future prospects between both Britain and the EU after their divorce. The French foreign minister said that the United Kingdom should begin the formal process of leaving the EU as soon as possible to prevent Europe falling into uncertainty. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Johnson, who of course was one of the leaders of the Leave campaign, is in a little bit of an awkward position there, although he is saying that the fact that the Europeans have welcomed him there means that there is some receptivity to the government's statements that Britain is not leaving Europe, but just simply leaving the EU. Meanwhile, on his way to Brussels, Foreign Secretary Johnson's plane was forced to make an emergency landing at Luton Airport yesterday morning because of a technical problem. The plane took off from RAF Northolt's main base near London, and then in just a few minutes had to land in an emergency situation apparently at Luton. And then Johnson made his way to Brussels. It's unknown whether or not he switched to another aircraft. Very shortly in Parliament in London, the British government is going to vote on renewing Britain's aging nuclear weapon system, the Trident submarine force. There are 4 Trident submarines. They're based in Scotland. At any given time, 2 of them are being used in training maneuvers. 1 is undergoing maintenance, and 1 is always at sea. The submarine is armed with multiple independent reentry nuclear missiles. The government agreed in 2007 in principle to replace the aging system They're about 40 years old, the submarines are. Some military officials are opposing the outlay, saying that the money would be better spent on improving the Army. How much money? About $220 billion over the expected 32 years life of the new submarines. The vote is expected to pass. Meanwhile, XL Catlin has opened a reinsurance unit to provide facultative and treaty reinsurance across Africa. Alex St. James and Matthew Gillis, two experienced reinsurance professionals, have been appointed to manage the team. XL Catlin said that traditionally there's been a lack of insurance penetration in Africa, but this is changing, and we believe we have a part to play as reinsurance capacity will further drive the development of the primary market. And in Nice, earlier today, French Prime Minister Manuel Valls was booed as he attended a minute of silence for the victims, the 84 victims of the terrorist attack by the truck driver. Hecklers shouted out "murderer" and "resign" at him shortly before the minute's silence began. Right-center opposition leader Nicolas Sarkozy, the former president, accused the current government of failing to provide security. Sarkozy called for any foreign nationals with links to radical Islam to be expelled from France. French Interior Minister said that the investigation had not yet found evidence linking the Tunisian-born French citizen attacker of Nice, his last name is Bollel, to any terrorist networks. The authorities say that Mr. Bollel became radicalized apparently only recently. Neighbors of Bollel have described him as a violent loner who liked to drink, lift weights, and go salsa dancing. Not sure how that kind of a profile would activate any security measures. That's the news for today. Tonight begins the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Donald Trump's ultimate reality show. Will go on for 4 nights, and some people will probably be watching on television. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.